Bandai is making the same mistakes as Xeon did in the 1 Year War. They're spending too much on experimental units instead of just making more stuff that works. Thus far, according to Nikkei Asia, Bandai has spent approximately $130 million on the Gundam Side G project. What would you even do with $130 million? Well, you can get 32,500 of the most expensive gunpla kit ever made. You can buy 260,000 PlayStation 5s, or you can make one of the most shitty metaverse projects that was ever created. If you've been following Gundam news, you would know that Gundam Metaverse project is scandalously bad right now. It comes equipped with lame graphics, leaks of future gunpla kits, and a lack of features. The animation department was also forced on a soulless OVA that disregards everything that made the original Gundam Build Finders universe so great. It's a shame because this could have been something special, but both the Metaverse program and the OVA are, in my opinion, failures. Not only is the Metaverse project itself disappointing, but I think there might have been far-reaching consequences for other Gundam properties as well. Gundam games are being shut down left and right, not only because of their own failures, but perhaps from the funding vacuum that is the Metaverse. Fans have dreamed of a Gundam MMO forever. Instead, we're watching Bandai burn $130 million in development costs on a project that has no soul. In 2018, Gundam Build Divers introduced a vision of what the Metaverse could be. The show focused on a massive MMO called Gundam Battle Nexus. The Nexus was a hub world, an extensive battle simulator, and it was a full dive interactive experience. I understand that there is a huge technology gap between the show and our real world, but the point I want to make is that GBN was driven by a different emotion than the Metaverse. GBN was about the excitement of hobbies, and Side G Metaverse is unfortunately driven by greed.
Hello, I like money.
It seems like Bandai started to flirt with the idea of the Metaverse in 2020. And do y'all remember 2020? It was generally a bad idea for the whole world. So any idea that starts in 2020 is also probably a bad idea. According to Nikkei Asia, Bandai was reaching out to a company called Genies in order to get ideas about avatar creation. One look at the Genies website though, and I already understand why it's being used. Artistically, I wouldn't want anyone to use these unshaded, big-ass head, cheap-looking avatars. I mean, hell, just look at this revolting corporate speak. Things are how avatar experiences are connected with each other. Users collect them as they move from experience to experience, and they are able to use them in different ways depending on the experience. This is so bad. This is absolute nothing. It doesn't mean anything. I hate corporal speak so much. But development-wise, Genie does offer developer tools and support in order to help build an online virtual space. So it's no wonder why Bandai, a company with no experience with building virtual spaces, would be seduced by Genie. And maybe a lack of technical and industry experience is exactly the problem. The Metaverse has been in development for at least 3 years now, and the beta could have been better. It had bare-bone features. The minimum requirement was a 2070 Super, yet it will still crash often, and it was as easy to data mine as Gundam Evolution. Yeah, people were out there 3D printing the newest Gundam model kits for free because Bandai did not have enough encryption on their databases. It's unknown how much data was exposed, but this sort of carelessness makes people's faith in Bandai drop. The game itself, or can I even call it a game? It's more like a program, only acts as a hub world for the various Gundam content that you can already find on the webs. There are Gunpla tutorials, cool Gunpla community builds, and oh yeah, the ability to purchase Gunpla. Yeah, so if you go into the Metaverse, you would click on a Gunpla you want to purchase, and it will open a fucking tab on your browser. Can't even do it inside the Metaverse itself. And even as they pulled the ability for people to download the test version of the Metaverse, they still encourage people to buy model kits using the Metaverse. This would be if I went to your house and sold you cable television. Then I unplugged the cable box, and then I still expected you to pay for the stuff. The commercials on cable channels would have shown. It's absolutely ridiculous. So essentially, the metaverse isn't much more interactive than, let's say, VR chat with even less customization. I can choose to look like a large-sized Sazabi in VR chat for free. But in the metaverse, all you'll be able to do is put on a helmet and some wings. Be ready too for the customization to be NFT based, because in the same October press conference that they, really released the metaverse, Bandai was saying that they were actively looking for people to develop NFTs for the metaverse. They had presented us with absolute nonsense. This is a bad product, and they're still looking to overly monetize the hell out of it. Truly, Bandai's Gundam division cares nothing about the quality of their products, or at least digital-wise. This is why so many Gundam digital properties have died recently, and I think that Metaverse will join them too. As a connecting dot right now, the Metaverse is barren and unreliable. And as we'll see, the other properties that it's supposed to connect, such as the animes or the games, they're not doing so hot either. Remember the fight between the Starbill Strike and the Wing Gundam Fenice? How it was filled with tactics, tension, and most importantly, passion? It was significant because both sides had something that they put on the line and something to prove. Their Gunplas took real damage, and Seiya and Regi's tournament participation was on the line. Plus, the music was baller. We care about the fight because we feel that the characters truly care. The whole Metaverse project did not care and had no soul. Sunrise couldn't have done a worse job at honoring the amazing series that started it all. This is mecha blue balling. Look at all of these amazing designs. Look at how cool they are. Now, don't you wish that they actually fought for over a minute before flashing to white to where the fight was already over? Don't you wish that these meetings between characters actually meant something? Look at how they parade the characters around with complete disregard for any sort of timeline consideration. Meijin, Sekai, Sei, and Regi should be all much older to around Fellini's age when the Build Divers and Metaverse stuff is happening. Reiji comes back from the alternate dimension and they ask him how he's doing, and he's just like, I don't know how I'm here. Bandai, what is this? This is completely undermining the ending of the original series. And now, okay, I understand how hard it is to make new designs for every legacy character. But they also made new characters such as Rio, Saria, and Mr. Jeff. Jeff, by the way, is an absolute fucking unit, and I kind of like his design, and I wish he was in a different series. The new characters are entirely inconsequential. Their stories doesn't add anything to the larger Build Fighters universe. I hosted a watch party of the Metaverse on my Discord server. There were around 8 of us, and every time they panned the camera towards Rio's story, we collectively groaned. Nobody cares about Maria, who essentially threw a temper tantrum and then started to bully her sister in a video game. This just raises so many questions, like, don't they live together because they're siblings? Are you seriously telling me that they couldn't just talk about it instead of having this younger boy who's like 14 solve their real-life adult sibling strife? Did you have to beat her in a video game? Are you seriously telling me that Rio, who couldn't beat Momo in the first episode, beat Maria in a mobile armor by himself, and then Maria then became Lady Kawaguchi the 7th? There's been 7 Lady Kawaguchis? What is the turnover rate on that position? What the fuck, Bandai? The story is an absolute 0 out of 10. If you take out all the new characters and just ran old characters in a battle log style show, this would have been infinitely better. Absolutely infinitely better. If you wanted me to make a full breakdown on how bad the Metaverse OVA is, please comment below. This is one of the worst Gundam animes I've ever seen in my life, and it truly is a signal for the entire Metaverse project. Suffering from poor digital profits from 2022 and 2023, Bandai Namco closed 4 Gundam games in pretty quick succession. Gundam Aerial Wars, Gundam Breaker Mobile, Gundam Evolution, and now Gundam Udyr Hunt are all terminated. Some of these games suffer from a lack of polish and hyper monetization. I wonder what that reminds me of. Bandai focuses on quantity, not quality. And with all of the titles they shut down, they all had a ton of microtransactions related to them. These titles were free to play, and now that after people poured money into them, they're just going to go away. There are almost no games left to connect to the Saiji Metaverse hub. We got maybe SD Gundam Battle Alliance and GBO2, and those games look like they're about to die as well. And the Gundam Arcade series can't be accessed globally, so they'll never make it onto the metaverse. Bandai somehow had a really bad year in digital sales, despite the sales from Elden Ring, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and Gundam games. Quote, "We recorded valuation losses, etc. on certain works in process of approximately 13 billion yen. That's about $87 million. This should have been a warning flag about the Metaverse project's heightened costs, but let's be honest, no one is digging through video game companies' finance reports until something goes wrong, like here. And not even Elden Ring's profits of around $91 million can cover the disastrous amount of money they spent on the Metaverse. They put more money into the Metaverse than Elden Ring made, and Elden Ring was one of the most popular games in the world. And I think I'm especially salty about this because they weren't developing the Metaverse. They could have used the resources in other Gundam properties. If they just had extra personnel on some of the other Gundam games, it probably would have mattered a heck of a lot more. The original plan for Saiji Metaverse was to have a esports section, including Gundam Evolution and GBO2, but that's not happening now or ever. It's a real shame that it's not going to happen, and Bandai is going to have to hard pivot on this project probably. There is one property that actually showed some promise in the Metaverse project, Gundam Battle VR. The technology isn't quite there yet, and there's a lot of limitations. Although from the looks for the preview, the graphics are bad and the weapons are pre-generated, meaning you can't really bring your own custom weapons into the mix. Therefore, I don't think it will play any better than Armored Core 6 or even GBO2. But man, this is the closest Gundam fans have ever gotten to Gundam Build Fighters. So I can't say that I'm not excited about it. I just wish Bandai isn't making the same mistakes as Xeon. They're getting so far up their own ass on experimental projects that they forgot what makes a good game work right now. And I think they're trying to build Gundams VR when they can't even make a good Gundam game. They're trying to build a Gundam when they haven't managed to make the gun tank yet. I'll keep track of Gundam Battle VR for the foreseeable future. Hopefully, they'll make it good in like 3 years or so. So to wrap up, the Metaverse has a lot of problems going forward. The base product, if I'm being generous, lacks luster. The OVA is a complete mess that fails to intrigue. The digital platform that they wanted to create can't be realized because their other games lack support, funding, and technology. Somehow, I don't even think this is Bandai's fault, really, that we don't have the technology to complete the Metaverse dream. However, I do think it's their fault for pursuing this project probably a decade too early. We'll need another 10 years before this is commercially viable. And I wish someone would have told them that in the boardroom meeting. For now though, I'm going to talk about what I like, and think a 10-year retrospective on Gundam Build Fighters would be cool. Subscribe if you want to be updated on when that comes out. Please get some water, touch some grass, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.